Hey guys, my name is Felicia Follum. I am an artist and traveler and all those things. I also teach for VIPKid, and that's actually what I wanted to talk about today. People have been asking if I'm teaching anymore, what's going on with all of that, and I'm sorry, there is a helicopter flying above me, if you heard that. That's fun. So I'm not teaching currently. I'm taking a break. I did sign my contract in October. They'll kind of back up. We live in Washington State. For 3 months, we lived in Richmond, Virginia. While we lived in Washington, I teach lived in Virginia, I taught mornings. And needless to say, the mornings were way easier to book. And when we moved back, it was kind of tricky to change my schedule. I also took a month and a half off, almost 2 months off we took a month to go back from Virginia to Washington and drive. We stopped to South Dakota, Wyoming, and Colorado on the way. And then we also ended up going to Hawaii for a week for my husband's work. And so I took a bunch of time off, and then I was trying to book evenings. And during that time, this was January, February, March, I'd gotten pretty sick, and so I was throwing up almost every night during classes. And to get time off, you have to get a doctor's note and all of that. And I was like, I was having really bad migraines too because of the time change and just different medication changes and everything. And I don't go to the doctor every time I have a migraine and throw up. That's way too often. Also, I have a stomach disorder that was acting up, and it's the way that it is. I'm not able to get doctor's notes for those types of things. And so I took time off and stopped teaching, even though I was trying to book my schedule, redevelop my schedule, right? So I took some time off and stopped teaching, taught very sporadically. Then coronavirus came. That was kind of during coronavirus, I guess. And then I started doing Etsy. I really upped my Etsy game and started doing some printables and that type of thing that were selling pretty good. And then through Instagram too, not just Etsy, and then August. In August, I found out I was going to have an art show in September and October, and it's a gallery. It's a big space. And usually you find out, you kind of know 2 years in advance, and you have 6 months to actually work on it once you've signed the contract. For me, I had about a month, a little less than a month even, and to get a lot of work done, to do 6 months worth of work in a month. So that was a lot. And I didn't open any slots. I was just kind of I'm done. And then I completely stopped opening slots. And then September and October, I had my art show up, and I was there about 2 to 4 days a week. And so I wasn't teaching much. And then at that point, I was trying to get a job doing social media for the gallery that the show was in. And so I was working towards that, which I'll start that in January, because I kind of had to create a position. Did. Then also I started selling Noonday in October and November. Not true. I joined in October and was just going to join for the credit and the discounts and everything. But then in mid-November, a week and a half into November, I decided to start selling. So I fell in love with their practices and how they do everything behind the scenes too. I love their jewelry and their mission, but then the more I learned about them, the more I was like, this is really cool. So then I started selling with them, and I actually made about what I made teaching VIPKid in less than 3 weeks. So I made actually more than what I made teaching VIPKid in less than 3 weeks. And granted, it is November, so it's the highest sales season for gifts and that type, and jewelry. So it makes sense. But also with recruiting for VIPKid, they have stopped hiring teachers from my state. They stopped hiring from California a while back, and then now Washington. And I think it's because of a similar law that was passed in Washington recently, is my best guess, to what was passed in California a while back. And so it's harder for VIPKid to run out of Washington, and they kind of are going to prioritize East Coast teachers, right? Because it's so much easier to get a schedule booking. Hours make more sense on the East Coast than on the West Coast, and so it's a lot harder of a job from the West Coast. That's just the truth with it. It's harder to get bookings. It's harder to build your schedule. It's harder to get consistency. And if you want to teach peak hours, they're harder to teach. So that's, oh my goodness, my hair. Oh, it's doing a weird thing. Sorry. I got super distracted there. I know what's going on. Sorry. So I'm not really recruiting because it's hard to recruit when you can't recruit from your state, right? And that's where a lot of my income was coming from with VIPKid, was recruiting and coaching and helping people through the hiring process. And so with getting a a part-time job that completely replaces VIPKid, and then also doing noonday, which I'm making more than I was with VIPKid between the two of them. I probably won't teach much, but I like the company still, knowing, and they also started paying less too for not teaching full time. So if you're a part-time teacher, now they pay you less. So then I was like less motivated, right, to stay up late to teach when I had other stuff, like I needed to get the art done. And so possibly after Christmas, after New Year's, when I'll have a consistent schedule again, it's possible that I will start opening slots. So I'm not quitting, I'm not done, but I am taking a break because I know I'm gonna have to take a break over Christmas, and I don't want to do that now. Like I don't want to go through like trying to get bookings on difficult times and then go through that again after Christmas. So that's where I'm at. I am still officially contracted with VIPKid. We'll see how much longer I actually am teaching. I still love it. I've been using my classroom for noonday shows, which is great. I love it still. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. So people keep asking, and I figured that I would do a quick update with where I'm at. And during all those you know how like during transitions you don't really talk about them, at least I don't. I always talk about things after. That's my Instagram's always like a week or a month after things happen. So usually, not always. I actually posted our last trip in real time. What? But yeah, so that's what's going on. I hope that's helpful. If you're curious about VIPKid, I would still recommend it. I still think it's a great company. It's harder on the West Coast. At least 2 of the 3 states you can't work from in the West Coast anymore, unless you get hired from a state that they do hire from. Yeah, so there you go. That's my VIPKid journey, where I'm at with that. So anyways, I hope to see you guys soon. Take care. Goodbye.